Welcome to the Frisco ISD podcast. I'm Karina Kirchhoff, and today we're taking a look at Frisco ISD's International Baccalaureate Program. I'll be sitting down with Jenna Gates, Frisco High School Assistant Principal and IB Coordinator, and Krishna Chetty, Advanced Academics Coordinator. We'll explore how Frisco ISD students can benefit from this exclusive program. And don't forget to stick around until the very end to hear news from around the district. So let's get started. What are some advantages of IB?
Okay, so the IB Diploma Program is a rigorous high school program starting in the 11th grade. It's a 2-year program where students take rigorous IB courses in all subject areas. It doesn't target any one particular pathway, so it's really developing skills for all career pathways. For example, we build on critical thinking skills. We really emphasize inquiry, writing skills, and refining communication skills is a big part of being an IB. IB students, rather than just learning information that they then, speak back out to or regurgitate back out to, they really focus on justifying their thinking, learning how to explore their, developing their knowledge, analyzing resources. In each course, there's opportunities for students to also have choice in what they study. So that's one of the unique things about IB is that in whether it's their English, history, math, science, in all of their courses, they have opportunities to kind of have some choice in what they study as well. So the IB program is definitely a rigorous option for students who are looking for really high-level college preparation. There's some unique experiences in IB. One is called Theory of Knowledge. We abbreviate it and call it TOK. It's a class that they start in their junior year and finish in their senior year, and it is all about how do we know what we know? Who is the source of knowledge? Can two people have different perspectives and they both be right? How do you justify your thinking? So all of that's a really unique class that our students enjoy in IB, and it really prepares them for any course of or any career pathway independent thinkers in the future. IB students also have CAS experience requirements. CAS stands for creativity, activity as in physical activity, and service. And so students in their CAS experiences are able to explore and grow personally. And that's a part of the IB diploma program experience. So it's not just all about academics. And then part of the IB program that is a unique experience for them is they also get their student choice on creating their extended essay. And again, all this is in the 11th and 12th grade. So throughout the extended essay, they explore really in depth over a long period of time a unique topic to them. And so that it seems like a mountain of a challenge at first, but it really develops our students' long-term planning skills, really develops their research skills, really develops their communication, so that they come up with their end product. And again, after they have that challenge in high school, the preparation of whatever they face in future years, they are really well prepared for university level.
I've heard you say university, I've heard you say college, so there must be some type of college credit that they can maybe obtain. How does that work with IB?
So college credit-wise, which they can, it's very similar to AP in the idea that students, or credit is earned based on individual courses, individual course scores. Those determinations are made individually per university. So that is always an ongoing conversation we have around IB and AP, is that make sure you study where you're interested in going. If college credit is your sole thinking or one of your big reasons behind some of this, make sure you're doing your own research. But outside of that, we know there's a lot of course, positive outcomes for this. They are encouraged to advocate for themselves. Not every place maybe knows IB. They may be more comfortable with AP, so it's up to students to really understand what they're learning, to maybe go speak to deans of colleges or college admission folks if they need to clarify what they are. And again, some a lot of credit, some not as much. So,
As a parent, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to add that in IB, the assessments that end up in that final course score, so they'll get an IB score for their English class and their math class, etc. Those assessments that go into that course score, some of them are done throughout the course in addition to May exams. I was just talking to a parent of a graduate recently who at first he didn't, based on the score report and the university's guidelines, didn't earn credit for a certain class, but then he was sitting in the class and had a conversation with the professor, told the professor he was an IB student and he was in that IB class last year, and explained the depth of knowledge that he really had, and that he advocated for himself, earned that credit, and was able to move up to a more of advanced class in his freshman year of university. So sometimes students can advocate for themselves and really explain, their depth of knowledge that they're learning in those IB courses. Most of the IB courses are 2-year courses, so their final assessments are really during senior year and in the May of their senior year.
Interesting. So this makes me think, like, as a mom, as a parent, which one's better? Should my child be an IB or should they be an AP? What do you think?
Yeah, so I get that question often. And really, we are very fortunate in Frisco ISD that the district offers so many different academic choices for our students and multiple advanced academics choices as well. So there's no one program that's better than another. I would never use that terminology. What parents and students really need to think about is what experience do their students want at the high school level. So there are differences among IB and AP or dual credit or, other offerings in the district. So really, in IB, we refer to it as a combo meal. So they are required to take advanced courses in multiple different subject areas. Language acquisition, so Spanish or French. Sciences, so we have biology or physics. The math, the history, the English. So if you're looking for rigorous courses in all subject areas, along with those other challenges like the TOK experience, CAS experience as an extended essay, that combo meal, if that fits your student best, then IB would be more appropriate of a high school pathway for your student. If a student would like to take maybe a mixture of advanced courses or on-level courses, or they want to use their 4 years of high school to explore different options, then maybe AP or another option in our district is better. So it's not really about saying one is better than the other. It's really thinking about what choices that our district offers fits your students the best based on their interests, their ability, what they want to get out of their high school experience.
I think to add to that, you really want to think about where you plan on going, because looking at where it is that you plan to go, they may have stuff out there from those individual universities or wherever it is that you're going that say, hey, these particular courses are more in line with what it is that we do here, or again, we mentioned IBAP. We have CT Center, of course, as well. And so there's so many just options out there. The more research students do, both in where they're going and to Ms. Gates' point, in terms of their own interest, the better, more successful they'll be.
I will say that there is a misconception that the IB, since it's International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, is only for students who want to go to university abroad or internationally. And that, of course, is not true. We want students who are well prepared for university level. Some of our students have explored international schools and chosen that option, but the majority of our graduates have, of course, stayed in the United States.
So this makes me think about how one gets started. So I assume one should get started or prepared in middle school. Can we talk a little bit about how we might prepare for this in high school?
Sure. So in middle school, some of the benefits or some of the preparation that I would recommend is taking the advanced courses whenever they're offered in middle school. It is helpful just to get, one of the challenges with IB is making sure we fit all of the Frisco ISD graduation requirements along with the IB diploma program requirements into a 4-year high school plan. So if we can complete health credit in middle school, that's helpful. If we can get started on Spanish 1, if you're choosing Spanish, if a student would prefer French, that's great. Just start that in ninth grade. So taking the advanced middle school options, completing a credit like health is helpful just because it's one less thing to do in high school. And then Spanish 1 is helpful since that's offered at the middle school level.
And then how do they matriculate actually through the program once they've decided that IB is for them?
IB actually doesn't start until the 11th grade, but we've always wanted to kind of build a cohort model with these students, because if they're going to leave their home campuses, we have them come to Frisco High School, become Frisco High School Raccoons in ninth grade. So their 9th and 10th grade will look pretty similar to every 9th and 10th grader across the district. And then junior and senior year are very specific course requirements. It can also mean that they take a couple of courses. They will maybe take a couple of courses different in 9th and 10th grade. But again, our big thing is Ms. Gates sits with them individually, draws out a 4-year plan for them, starts in 9th grade though, and we want them to be just a part of that campus as though it's their home.
And I sometimes get a question from parents, well, can my student go to their home zone campus for 9th and 10th and join Frisco High School in 11th grade? And that's really not the best approach. It's really best if they become a part of our campus. It gets them comfortable with our campus. It helps me have a better connection with them so that we're planning carefully. It also helps them become leaders on our campus because we want them highly involved, just like all students on our campus, so that having a transition in the middle of high school is really best to have that transition in 9th grade instead of trying to join our campus right before junior year. However, if a student, let's say we've had families that have moved into Frisco ISD, and so if a student is interested and they're older and they want to join IB diploma program, it may be possible, but really they need to contact me for more information because every student's situation is different.
In Frisco ISD, we have this student opportunity model. There's so many different things students can do. They can join these IB, AP, dual credit, and maybe they want to be in a sport or an extracurricular activity. How can they balance all of that? Is it even an option where they can do AP and do band and do IB? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so sometimes the challenge is there's only 24 hours in a day, right? So sometimes we have students, and it's great. They want to do so many different things in high school, and high school should be a time to explore different options. So yes, an IB student can take AP classes, mostly in 9th and 10th grade because there's not IB specific courses until 11th grade. So it's easier for them to fit those in 9th and 10th grade. But they can use the space that they have in their 4-year plan in addition to their IB requirements for other advanced choices if it fits in, right? So sometimes logistically just scheduling can be a challenge, but we've had students who have explored advanced options at the Kate Center. We've had students who add in additional AP courses. It also depends on what's best for that student. For some students, that's too overwhelming. They need to stick with the IB requirements, and adding even more to that would not be appropriate for all students. Let's talk about like band, athletics, finance. Like we want our students involved in all those different things to explore in high school. So again, it's just a matter of planning carefully to make sure we're fitting in all of our graduation requirements. Junior year is particularly tight because of the IB requirements start in junior year. So it is difficult to schedule double blocked classes. So like classes like athletics or band or some Kate classes that take up 2 periods. That is a challenge in junior year. But again, I sit down and kind of help the students, and we talk and have individual conversations about what their priorities are about their high school experience so we can fit in as many things as possible into those 4 years.
So that kind of brings me to, it sounds like you're working with them hand in hand, or Frisco High School works with them. So why is it only available at Frisco High School?
So this goes back to when we first responded. The IB as a whole came up in response to long-term planning some time ago. Community kind of came out and said, hey, this is something we think that fits our district, fits the students that are here. And so there was an interest there. But it was always seen as a good school of choice option, not necessarily an entire building to do this or anything like that. But let's give this opportunity to students across the district. So in thinking of that, we had to find a good location. Frisco High is great in that it is a much more centralized location as opposed to other buildings in this district. And we also, you mentioned student opportunity models. So that means it limits the size our schools can be, the number of students that can be there. And at that time, Frisco High and continues to have the available space that would allow us to bring these kids from across the district and still be able to keep our model of all of our students staying a reasonable size.
So if a child is in these IB courses, how does this actually look on a college application?
Yeah, so I would say that, of course, there's no one pathway to university, right? And there's no one pathway that a student can take that guarantees admissions to any particular university. However, IB is one way that advanced students can distinguish themselves among other advanced students. So recently I had a student share that they were talking to an admissions representative at a university, and of course they shared that they were an IB student. And so the admissions representative responded, "Oh, we absolutely know the preparation that IB students come with to the university's level." So of course college applications and college admissions is important. I would argue that college preparation is even more important because wherever you go, wherever a student chooses for themselves, you want to make sure that they are well prepared, can face any challenge, and when they have had the experiences that they've had at Frisco High School in the IB program, they are well prepared for time management, writing skills, communication skills, becoming independent thinkers. The things that you often hear are lacking in some level of university preparation, that's what we try to focus on in IB. So, it's one of many options that looks great on college applications. But we certainly, it's not the only option for students. And of course, students would need to do well in the program. And, but yeah, we've had our students go to a variety of universities. It's kind of interesting where they all end up after they graduate.
It's fantastic to hear stories of success. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, how do I sign up? How do my kids sign up?
So like Ms. Gates mentioned earlier, this is predominantly meant for our 8th graders that want to matriculate into 9th grade, because we want them to be a good cohorted model to meet and come in. So for our current 8th grade students, we host a couple of meetings. This year there will be on October 29th a webinar, and then on November 7th we'll also be in person at Frisco High School. That's kind of the informational meeting for them to get a lot more details than what we're able to get into today. And then they'll complete an interest form by November 20th to be then further included in the process. Also, as Ms. Gates mentioned, we do have students that are current 9th and 10th graders that may be interested, move-ins, things like that. So always reach out to Ms. Gates, and she can kind of walk through what's available space-wise in terms of your scheduling and all that kind of stuff to make sure that you can actually, that it makes sense.
Yeah, typically when a family reaches out to me, if they're not a current 8th grader, maybe they've moved into the district or they're just older and they've heard about IB diploma program for the first time, my immediate question is, which high school credits have you already earned? Like, what classes are you currently taking? And when I get that information, I can provide some more specific feedback on whether or not transitioning into our IBDP program will be possible. We try to accommodate every student that we can who is interested and has the coursework that can transition into the 11th and 12th grade requirements.
If anyone wants any more information on IB programming, how should they go about getting this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best thing to do if you have any questions related to the IB diploma program is to contact me. So Jenna Gates at Frisco High School, and my email address is gatesj, so GATESJ at friscoisd.org. I answer parent emails all the time, so feel free to email me whatever questions you have to see if we can, transition your kid to see if the IB is the best fit for your student.
I hear there's also a great website.
Google.
Yeah.
Jen and Krishna, thanks so much for sitting down with the Frisco ISD podcast and informing all of us about IB programming.
Thanks.
Stick around for updates from around the district.
Frisco ISD's Legislative Leadership Committee has proposed 6 priorities for the 2025 Texas legislative session, focusing on accountability, student experience, and school finance. The Board of Trustees will vote on these recommendations in November, with advocacy plans